we continue our practical Viva and record work of botany. Next specimen, green algae, kingdom plant, division chlorophyta. Here we can see the one single cell of filamentous alga, Spirogyra. Spirogyra are unbranched multicellular filamentous green algae. Each cell is longer than broad. Single nucleus seen in the central portion, radiating cytoplasmic strands seen from the nucleus to peripheral region. Usually the vegetative reproduction by fragmentation, and in case of sexual reproduction, scalariform and lateral conjugation may seen in this species. In case of Spirogyra, ribbon-shaped chloroplasts are seen with numerous pyrenodes. Pyrenodes are the reserve food materials. Then next specimen, Sargassum. Sargassum, kingdom plant, division Phaeophyta. That means member of brown algae. They are giant kelps usually seen in Sargasso Sea. If we check the thallus, it is highly branched. They bear the pigment fucoxanthin and chloroplast as pigments, laminarin and mannitol as food material, reserve food material. They are known as giant kelps, which looks like huge trees in the sea. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Sexual reproduction by male Antheridia and female Oogonia as sex organs produce male and female gametes. Air bladders are seen. They help for maintain buoyancy. They can float on the water. Next, prothallus of Nephrolepis. Prothallus of Nephrolepis. Kingdom plant, division Pteridophytes. Pteridophytes. The plant body is sporophyte. This is the gametophytic phase of pteridophyte. They are free living. They grow in wet soil, greenish in color. They can photosynthesize to produce their own food material. They are multicellular, heart-shaped part, gametophyte. They are dorsiventrally flattened in structure. Anterior side with several archegonia and lower with numerous antheridia. Male reproductive organs are antheridia and female reproductive organ archegonia. Prothallus is independent in growth. The male and female gametes produced in antheridia and archegonia. The male and female gamete fused to form zygote. From diploid zygote, gametes are haploid. The first diploid cell is zygote is formed by the fusion of male and female gametes. From the zygote, spore of diploid sporophytic plant body is developing. Next member, Bryophytes. Kingdom plant division Bryophyta. This is commonly known as moss plant. Funaria. Scientific name Funaria. Common name moss plant. This is the gametophytic haploid plant body. This is the diploid sporophytic part. The diploid sporophytic part attached to the haploid gametophytic plant part. These are the rhizoids. The plant body is known as thallus because here the conductive tissues like xylem and phloem are not developed. So the plant body is known as thallus. The main plant body is gametophyte sporophytic part, that is food-setae capsule attached on the haploid gametophytic part. They live as semi-parasitic condition. They absorb food from haploid part and also they are greenish in color. The sporophyte part bear capsule. Here the meiotic division take place and haploid spores are formed. These haploid spores fell into soil and germinate to form haploid plant body. Next member, Rixia. They are also bryophytes. This is the thallus of Rixia. This is one part of thallus. The plants of this class are commonly called liverworts. This plant body thallus is known as liverworts. Asexual reproduction in liverworts by fragmentation or by gemme, capsule like gemme. The main plant body of Rixia is gametophyte like moss plant. The thalli are present on form of patches called rosette in wet soil. They develop in wet soil. The bryophytes are known as amphibians of plant kingdom. These members are also known as amphibians of plant kingdom because water is essential for completion of their life cycle. The plant body also known as thallus because there is no xylem and phloem like conductive tissues are formed or developed. The male sex organ antheridia and female sex organ archegonia produced on the thallus, gametophytic thallus. The antheridia produce male gamete and female gametes produced in archegonia. They fuse to form first diploid cell. From this diploid cell meiosis take place and the spores develop to form gamete plant body again. They complete their life cycle. Next, kingdom plant division gymnospermae. This is the pinus male cone. Pinus, Cycas pinus, etc. are examples of division gymnospermae. They are also known as conifers. What about the male cone? The male cones are formed in clusters of long shoot. Clusters in long shoots. The male cones are soft in texture and arranged in bundles. Several microsporophylls. Here is the microsporophylls. Several microsporophylls spirally arranged on the axis of male cone. Several microsporophylls are spirally arranged on the axis of male cone. Microsporophyll. There are so many microsporophylls are seen. Microsporophyll consists of a short stalk and two microsporangia. Each microsporophyll consists of short stalk and 2 microsporangia. In microsporangia, microspores are produced. Microspores are yellowish in color and the dispersal of microspores known as sulfur shower because the microspores are yellowish in color. They poured as rain, yellow rain. Next, the female cone of pinus. The female cone of pinus. What about the female cone of pinus? It is woody in texture. They produced at the base of short shoot. Number is less compared to male cones. They are larger and woody. Female cones consist of several megasporophylls. Several megasporophylls are seen in female cones. The female cone consists of several megasporophylls. The ovuliferous scales. The ovuliferous scales bear 2 ovules. Mature female cone is woody and hard. Here the ovuliferous scales bear 2 ovules at their basal part. Next part of botany record about vegetative propagules. These specimens are displayed and can include in Viva portion. What about tubers and bulb? Tubers and bulb. They are example of underground stem modification for reserve food reservation and also helps for reproduction. The tubers and bulb. This is example of tuber is potato and bulb onion. These are included the category underground stem modification. What about potato tuber underground modification tuber? They are swollen tip of underground lateral branches of stem. Tubers are swollen tips of underground lateral branches of stem. Store food as starch. Bear eyes. Bear eyes. Each eye is a node which bear bud and scale leaves are also seen. Swollen tip of underground lateral branches of stem. Store food as starch, bear eyes and scale leaves. Nodal portions are also seen. Next one, this is also example of underground stem modification. Bulb example onion. What about onion? They are reduced flattened discoid stem. They are reduced flattened discoid stem with crowded nodes bearing overlapping fleshy inner and dry outer scale leaves. They are reduced flattened discoid stem with crowded nodes bearing overlapping fleshy inner and outer dry scale leaves. Terminal bud in center. Terminal bud in center. For foliage green leaves. Terminal bud in center forms foliage green leaves. Adventitious nodes grow from discoid base. Adventitious roots grow from discoid base. These are the adventitious roots. Grow from discoid base of stem. Next, rhizome. Rhizome, here example ginger. Turmeric also another example. Here is the ginger, rhizome. It is also an example of underground stem modification. Rhizome. They are thick, fleshy, flattened, horizontally growing stem near the soil surface. Rhizome are thick, fleshy, flattened, horizontally growing stem near the soil surface. Bears scale leaves. Bears scale leaves. On node, terminal and axillary buds. Adventitious roots also seen. Bears scale leaves on nodes, terminal and axillary buds also seen. Adventitious roots are also we can see. Next, offset. Offset. What about offset? Here example water hyacinth, another example water lettuce. These are examples of modification of subaerial stem. Modification of subaerial stem. Offset is an example of modified subaerial stem. What about offset? They are like runners, but thicker and stouter. Thicker and stouter. Grow from a short distance and produce clusters of leaves. Clusters of leaves above and adventitious roots below. They are aquatic plants. The internodal region is thick and this is the nodal region. From nodal region clusters of leaves arising and clusters of roots arise from the nodal region. But the internodal region is thick and stout and short. The air bladders helps for keeping buoyancy. They can float on water. Next, runner. Runner. Example, oxalis. Grass is another example. Here we can see the example oxalis. This is also an example of modification of subaerial stem. Modification of subaerial stem. Runner. Long, weak, slender branches with long internode. The internodal region is long. They are long, weak, slender branches with long internodal region. Compared to offset. Offset, in case of offsets, the internodal region is thick and short. But in case of runners, the internodal region is long and slender. Runs. The internodal region runs horizontally on soil surface. Horizontally on soil surface. Giving of adventitious roots. Giving of adventitious roots at a nodal region. Now we complete the second session of botany record, Viva and practical.